Welcome, everybody. I'm Tim Sutton, and I am here to hopefully bring you a new perspective. Um, if you're just joining the show or haven't been here in a while, we've had a lot of guests over the course of the past, I guess, year. This is episode 19. And, if you're not familiar with me, I'm a law enforcement officer in the state of Virginia. I've done a lot of work with families and individuals dealing with disabilities, which I prefer to call differabilities. But the goal of the show and what I try to do is bring people on who have made an impact on the disability community, individuals with disabilities, as well as other groups and individuals that have just reached out and done things to take a stand to help individuals with disabilities to just carry out everyday life like everybody else because they matter just as much as everybody else in this world. And so I bring in not just law enforcement aspects, but I try to bring in multitude of different people who are doing different things, different avenues. Some of us trying to do the same type of thing, which I say to more people, the merrier. We need to get out there and advocate for families and individuals. But luckily, my producer Anthony Griffo is in college up in Connecticut at Quinnipiac University. I hope I said it right. And he has really been making himself known and getting to meet people up there. And if you saw 2 weeks ago, I had a gentleman on, Dave Stevens. He's actually the vice president of this organization we're going to talk about tonight, the Ability Network. But I believe the Dean Roush is the president. But I've got one of the students who's a junior who's going to come on, and we're going to talk about the Ability Network and what they're doing in the communications aspect, behind the scenes, in front of the camera, to help people with different abilities. And they say people with different abilities. Everybody has abilities; they just do things different. But what I'd like to do is bring on Aiden Barrett, and he's a junior at the university, and he's active in the Ability Network. So welcome, Aiden.
Tim, thanks for having me on.
Well, you and I got to talk last week. You dialed me up, and we got to have a good conversation about what I do and why I do it. And I hope it open your eyes, and maybe some other people's eyes can be open. But again, I being a law enforcement officer, that's 30 some years. It's kind of been a big focus of mine, and I'm trying to branch out and get these other groups as I learn more and more about disabilities. I'm being introduced to a lot of different players in what we're trying to do. And, Anthony introduced us and got us connected. And like I said, 2 weeks ago, Dave was on here and we had a great conversation. But what I wanted to do, just we want to learn about you. We want to learn about the Ability Network. I know you do some podcasts. I want people to know about that stuff too. But first, let's just talk about the Ability Network. Tell us what the Ability Network is and what it's there for.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a nonprofit organization. We're trying to bring obviously more awareness to people with disabilities, in the workforce or in their careers or whatever they are doing in general. We want to bring more awareness to it because there isn't enough out there. I mean, you look at some just examples of that is like when you watch movies, I mean, they have other people playing roles of like people, in a wheelchair or something like
Right.
that. And there needs to be more of it. Obviously, I know with what you do with your nonprofit organization, people need to learn about these type of things so they can handle them better. Obviously, as you know that, and as hopefully it's getting expanded to more people because obviously you guys have reached out. You guys are working with 42 different locations. I mean, that's incredible. And then, I mean, we just want to see it grow more. And that's what
Right.
kind of Ability Media is trying to do. I mean, it's all student runs. We do articles, podcasts, or anything, go to events, cover events. We just want to get, it out there more than it because it needs to be out there more than it already is.
Well, I know there's been a big push, and of with some of the people I talk because, like you said, an actor or somebody in a movie or a TV show in a wheelchair. Why can't that be somebody who is legitimately in a wheelchair? Not an actor portraying somebody in a wheelchair, but it should be somebody who lives that life, and it gives them the opportunity. And it's a real representation. So I guess that's part of y'all support. How long has the nonprofit been around? Do you know when it originated?
Yeah, we started like late 2020, early 2021 is when it kind of like really started to take off. I didn't join until this year. I know some people have been in it for a little bit now, and I mean, it's just it sounded like a great organization when I heard about it. I mean, back when I was in high school, I did a lot of things with the special needs community.
Okay.
I mean, it's a community that I feel, think very highly of. And
Right.
I really do appreciate what you do. That's why I want to talk to you because, people need to understand that, there are people with different abilities, as you like to say. Like, there needs to be more of an understanding of that. And, I mean, I've always loved sports, being, able to share that
Right.
with these type of community, these type of people. I mean, it's awesome to be able to do that, and now be able to write about it and realize that there's
Right.
other people out there who feel the same way. I mean, it's just a great thing.
And it gives them an opportunity to belong to something.
Yeah, because they
It's
do. Yeah, absolutely.
it's huge for them. And I was looking at the website, and it says 20.3 million families in this country who have a family member with a disability. That's a huge population there, and for so many years, um, they've been set aside. And I was teaching a while back, and I've had a lot of family. I did a lot with a lot of families dealing with autism, and I know some specifically when the child was diagnosed, the doctors years ago actually told the moms, stop loving them, do not touch them, do not try to interact with them, and then they need to be placed in an institution. And the mothers, thank God, the mothers I talked to said, no, we're going to work through this. And the child makes it through high school and elementary, high, all the way through high school. Some going to college, and next thing you know, they're gainfully employed. And it's like back then, it was just like, okay, push them aside, hide them somewhere, and disassociate yourself with them, which is just one of the cruelest things you can imagine. But and what I love is you've got people who, I know a lot of people have disabilities. Mental health is a disability, but if you got people who appear to be neurotypical individuals without a disability are taking it upon themselves, such as you, to go out there and try to make a difference for them. I'm a cop. That's I tell them I'm just a cop, and I don't have children with disabilities. But I found that I was put in charge of a program. Next thing you know, I'm meeting these families, and I realized that uniform put me in places where typically I never would have gotten to be able to advocate for those individuals. So I admire, I mean, to be honest with you, when I was in college, your age, I had no idea. You're journalism. I went in as a journalism major, ended up switching to business, but I had no clue what to do. I didn't get involved in any organizations and stuff. And that's why I look back now. I look at what you're doing, and a lot of you college students are doing, and I wish I would have stepped up when I was in college and done it as well. So I commend you for taking an active role in it. Tell
Yeah,
me,
I appreciate that. No, definitely. I mean, it's something that, like I said, when I heard about it, it was something that I definitely wanted to get involved in. And I mean,
right?
obviously, I mean, you've been doing it for years and years now. I mean, all the way back starting in like, was 2003 when you guys came with like the first
When I
program?
started working with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. I mean,
So
no, I mean, it's like you said. And also going back to that comment about, don't associate with your kid because like they're they have a disability.
right,
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, people got to realize these are real people with real
right,
feelings, and they deserve to be involved just as much as we do. I mean, they can
right.
I know so many kids who they're not involved because nobody asked them to be involved. It's not
Nobody
because
took
they
the
can't
time.
do it. These kids are athletic. They're athletic. They're able to actually play sports. Just nobody asks them to, and that's the problem. That's what we need to realize, that
Right,
these kids need to keep getting involved more and more. And I mean, they're not getting involved enough, and it's a shame, and it's on some of us. I mean, we have to be the ones to help them out because they are a little bit different from everyone else. And
right,
I mean, we need to be the ones. We need to be the voice to help
right.
them out.
Well, and back to that, what the doctors were telling people, if anybody's familiar with Temple Grandin, I mean, she has autism, but there's a movie, I think it was HBO put out on Temple Grandin. I would encourage anybody to go watch the movie. Claire Danes played her, but she's on the spectrum. And that's one thing in the movie she was told, or her mom was told when she was a child by the doctor, you need to put her in an institution. Mom refused. And she worked with her and worked with her, worked with her. And if you look her up, you'll see some amazing things she's doing. And she's responsible for so much of the cattle equipment stuff out there for farmers and all. And she's pretty much a cow whisperer. You know, you hear horse whispers and things, but she is all over the place speaking. And it's like, had she been put away in the institution, what would she have been? What look at what would have been missed out on. But her mom stepped up and did it. And it doesn't just need to be the moms and dads stepping up for them. It needs to be you. It needs to be me, other people out there. And that's what impresses me about the organization is it's y'all are making a difference. And I was lucky to get Dave Stevens on here last 2 weeks ago. Just amazing guy, and y'all lucky to have him as well. But tell me how being involved in this nonprofit, how has it changed you?
I always, enjoyed, helping, definitely the special ed community because that's where I was involved in before coming to college with my love of sports. And,
Right,
as I've, come in here, I've got to learn about some more people. I got to interview a sports broadcaster a couple weeks ago who he lost his leg. And I mean, a lot of people, when you lose a limb or lose something, it's tough to get back on track or stay on track. And
right,
I mean, he was somebody who fought through it. And I mean, obviously now he has the job that he wanted to have.
right,
I mean, it just kind of taught you that, like, when you get to learn off of these people and you realize that, like, nothing is like too hard because you're seeing people who have different abilities and they are able to still do what you can do as well, and honestly better than some people who
right,
don't even have a different ability. I mean, they're learning about the population with, like, people who whatever it may be, whether it may be autism, or
right,
they can't walk, or they're missing a limb,
right,
whatever it may be. I mean, there's still people out there who have the same dreams as we do. I mean, they have the
right,
same dreams, same things that they want to get done, goals. I mean, yeah, they're still, like, that's what people need to understand. And I mean, I already understood that, but
right,
I mean, just kind of getting even a better understanding and kind of seeing firsthand, talking to more people. I mean, it's really
right,
cool because I mean, it's definitely something that they're doing. They're showing they're being a role model to even just
right,
people who don't have a different ability. They're still being a role model to them as well. I mean, like, if, like you said, some of these people you wouldn't even know if they had it.
right,
Um, and when you find that they had it, have it, you're like, there's even thinking extra part of respect that goes to
right.
them.
Yeah, I mean, you look at how many chances were they given growing up or doing,
Yeah.
they were the last person picked for this or the last person. And, back to Dave, I mean, playing football, baseball, wrestling. I mean, he did it all, went to college and did it all. Um, and I can only imagine if that's a passion of yours, then you end up at a college and then down the road you find out, hey, there's another organization and there are lots of people who are as passionate about this as I am. It's not you, it's just not solely you. You've got more. And that's what I'm trying to do, not just on a campus, but worldwide. I want to bring people on and just let everybody know we're all out here trying to do stuff and let's talk about it and share it so the public can hear it. But I've got all the admiration in the world for you stepping up doing this stuff and just keep on doing it. And how many, do you have any idea how many people are involved in the network?
Yeah, it's mostly like the articles and what's it called, podcasts are, it's all student run.
Okay.
So I mean, obviously, Dave and Chris are always overlooking, giving
Right.
out ideas, trying to, helping us as well. But going off kids wise, I'd say there's about 15. I
Okay.
mean, we'd love to grow the number, obviously. I mean,
Right.
there's always room for more. There's
Right.
never not room. And I mean, if I understand people have busy schedules, they're not able to, uh, you know, go join a new club. I mean, they're already in a bunch of other clubs. I mean, I think I'm in 6 clubs.
Wow.
So, I mean, if you're in a different club, that's okay.
Right.
But what you need to realize is that you can still take the knowledge that, like, we're putting out there. Like,
Right.
you see that kid who, maybe he's got something wrong with him. Maybe you can kind of tell. Just say hi. I mean, that can make
Yeah.
their day. I mean, just a hi. Ask them how their weekend was. Just something as small as that, as simple as that. Because I mean, to you, maybe 10 people ask you how your day
Right.
is, and for you, it's an annoying question, and it's like everyone's asking me, and you know what? Everyone knows, like, they don't really care at the end of the day,
Right.
but to them, they do care because they had somebody come up and ask them how their day was, and that kind of put a smile on their face. And so I think that just going forward, ask me how their day was. You see somebody who is having difficulty with something else,
Right.
hold the door for them. Just be a good person. At the end of the day, be a good person. Have some respect for what these people are going through, and you
Right.
just help them out. It doesn't hurt. You're not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt you. Just be a good person at the end of the day. So I mean, we'd love more members to join. Obviously, we
Right.
would love if more people would come on and join. I mean, obviously, my email, abarrett4@quinnipiac.edu. Email me. I will 1000% give you whatever information that you need. But if not, if you can't join,
Yeah.
understandable. Just go be a good person. Understand
Well,
what we're
just listen to
saying.
the podcast. Listen to your podcast. Read up on what's going on, so you're somewhat familiar. What's interesting, my classes I teach, I believe the statistic is about, I think it's 3% of kids kindergarten through 12th grade in this country, 3%. And you might think 3%, that's not a whole lot, but think about how many kids in this country there are. 3% of those say that they eat lunch every day at school by themselves.
Yeah.
Nobody sits with them. They're by themselves. That's a lot of kids. And like you said, just saying hi. I mean, or going up saying, "Hey, can I sit here?" and sitting with them and having lunch. That's out of the norm for them, and it probably means the world that somebody would
Yeah.
take the time to come over and just sit down and eat with me. You don't have to talk to me if you don't want, but to sit beside me. And some of the best relationships are built like that. And then next thing you know, you might have another person come over. But taking it, and it's very difficult to get out of your comfort zone. If you're eating lunch over here with your guys or girls, whoever, but it takes a lot of courage to leave your group of people and go over there. But you've got to know that you've just made a world of difference in somebody's life just by sitting down there beside them. And so, like you said, the kids up there at school, I hope other college kids around the world are watching this as well. And so, again, if somebody at some other college or some university or whatever likes what you all are doing, what is a good contact point or email or website for them to go to just to get their foot in the door? They may be able to start a similar program elsewhere.
Yeah, abilitymediagroup.org would probably be the best place to go. I mean, that's our website. We have all our information, staff information, articles we've written, podcasts, everything's there. I mean, if you want to get in contact with us, you can get contact through us through that website. I mean, that's if you want to go and kind of check out what we're doing or want to learn more about it. That's the site you should go to. And I mean, we'd love if you did come to the site because I would always looking for more. Even if you don't go to Quinnipiac, I mean, we'd love
Right.
to talk to you about it because I mean, maybe you can find a group of people or
Right.
who want to get started at your college. I mean, you never know. There's other people out there who want to help. So you never know. It's always good to get the word out there, share the idea,
Right.
and I mean, hopefully that you guys going to different colleges want to do the same. So I mean, that's definitely probably the best place to go. And obviously, I said you can email me, and I will 1000% respond.
Okay. And what's that email address?
abarrett4@quinnipiac.edu.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, and the thing is, I know there's some other officers in this country doing what I do, and they teach autism, Alzheimer's, and stuff. And a lot of us stay in contact, and it's like we're not trying to compete with each other. We're trying to make sure that we get the information out as best as possible. I've had officers call me from the Midwest saying, "Hey, somebody in Virginia contacted me about some training on autism. It's a long ways away. Can I put them in contact with you?" And that's the main thing, is get that information out there. Any way we can, as many groups as we can get formed out there just to help these individuals and their families. When you've got a child that has nobody sitting with them at lunch for, a year, and then all of a sudden somebody comes over, those parents have got to be, when that child comes home and tells them somebody came and sat down with me at lunch, that's got to be so comforting to the parents and so exciting. So these little things do mean a great deal. And, doesn't take much, like you said. Just say hi.
Yeah.
So you've got. I think you said you do 2 podcasts. Tell us about your individual podcasts that you do.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I do two sports podcasts. I'm a big sports fan. I have a hockey podcast called Stick Taps. You can find it on Instagram, stick.taps.
Sure.
It's on Spotify. We've been running it for a little bit over a year now, or I've been running it for a little bit over a year now. I mean, I have a lot of fun with it. Always trying to get more people on it to kind of give, if you're interested in the sports industry, always
Right.
trying to get people on it and kind of learn more about it. My other podcast I started this year, it's football, line to line, and then there's our this is actually isn't my podcast. This is the one with Ability Media. It's ran by John Steinberg and Santino Maoni. John is blind, and he kind of talks about how he goes through life, being blind, and they have guests on who also have a disability
Oh,
come on, and they talk about how they're able to get through life with that disability, and how they're able to manage it and still go after their passion. I mean, they've had people who play all sports like basketball or something like
right.
that come on, or do something like music or something like that. So I mean, it's really some good stuff there. So definitely, I definitely recommend that you check that out. It's
Are your
actually in our website, Ability Media. So
are
you can
yours
definitely see it.
are they live or are they
Um,
pre-recorded or
I believe that they are pre-recorded.
okay.
I'd have to double check honestly on that, but I'm almost positive that it is
Okay.
pre-recorded. If not, yeah, it's on Spotify. So I believe that you go to Spotify and you
Yeah,
can
go
find
to
it.
Spotify, find him, listen to what he's doing because you we were talking before. I said, what do you want to do when you get out of college? So just share that with everybody.
Oh yeah, I want to be a, sports radio host. Preferably hockey, football. I want to do something. Be a sports radio host. That's what my like number one thing that I want to do one day if I had the choice.
Are you from Connecticut or where are you from?
I'm from Long Island actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so not too far away. Like 2.5 hour drive, I'd say, to
Yeah.
school. So not too bad.
Yeah. So what if you had one thing to tell everybody about y'all's organization and the whole purpose of why you do or the organization does, what just I say just a little paragraph, just tell them why you do what you do and what you are trying to accomplish.
I mean, obviously, I grew up, and in high school, I got really involved with special ed community. I worked at started volunteering at a camp, then started every Saturday. It was from 2 to 7, and it was all volunteer. Worked with kids with special needs. Um, and then on Sundays, from 10 to 11, play soccer with them. It's called High Flyers. It's a great organization. They 20 Sundays out of the year, they go and they play soccer with kids with special needs.
Okay.
So I mean, I really enjoyed bringing my love of sports over to them. And then when I got here, I learned about this organization. I wanted to get involved because I always enjoyed helping these people and bringing my love of sports to them as well. Because unfortunately, like I said, not all of them get to experience it because they're not asked. So if they're not asked, they never know if they really like it or dislike it, and then they try it, and some of them love it. Some of them don't love it, and that's okay
Right.
too. But they should always have the choice to decide if they like it or not. And unfortunately, not enough of them get that choice. So
Right.
I like to talk to people. Obviously, what we do as an organization, we get to talk to people who either have a disability or work with people with disabilities, and either or. I mean, there's a ton of respect that goes into that towards those people, and I mean, we just want to share it, and that's
Right.
our main goal. Is we want to share it, we want to get it out there, we want other people to know, and we want other people, hopefully, to, not saying they have to join the club, but you know
You're
take it
aware.
with them, and just say hi, just
Yeah.
be a good person.
Do you have any family members with disability or brothers or sisters or anything?
I have cousin who has autism. He's pretty high on
Right.
he's pretty high up there. Like it's not like you said, like when you're a police officer, you don't always know if you're not trained, and that's what you guys are doing. You don't always know. It's almost
Right.
like you can't see it. And I didn't even know for the longest time.
Right.
And then found out later. I mean, now I've known for a good
Right. Right.
better amount of time. But
Well,
yeah, I didn't
yeah.
know. My mom has a cousin with Down syndrome. Um, trying to think anything else. No,
Well, the
no,
reason
I don't think so.
reason I ask is interesting because I get a lot of people wanting to know why I do what I do, and they're like, "Do you have a family member?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." And sometimes I worry, and I've had parents come to my classes trying to, they say they came to tear me apart because I don't have a family member with disability or have a child with disability. But later on, you find out how appreciative they are that you're doing what you're doing, and you're not doing it because you have a family member affected. You're doing it because it's something that you see needs to be done. You've got the passion for it. And I would encourage you and anybody else, I think it might have been episode 16 or 17 of this year. I had a lady, there's a nonprofit here in Richmond called Jacob's Chance. And this kind of goes along with what you all are doing. She was actually at a sport baseball game with her kids. They finished playing games. She got ready to leave. And on one of the other fields, she'd been up there for 2 hours watching her kids play. And on the other field, there was a team out there, but each player had somebody with them on the field. And she started to look into it, and it was mostly the parents were there with their kids with different abilities out on the field, and they were helping them. And her take on it blew me away because she said, I felt guilty. I was able to go sit in the stands for 2 hours and talk to my friends while the kids were out there playing ball. And these families, these parents don't get that opportunity to sit in the stands and watch their child. So now they started sports programs here around in Richmond that are adaptive to whatever disability it is. And they work with them. And now the parents can actually sit back, and there's people out there with them, and they can actually watch the game and watch them play. They don't have to be right there beside them. So it gives them, I guess, a break to be able to just sit there and relax and enjoy what a lot of the other parents have been enjoying. So making it somewhat normal for them to be able to sit in the stands and watch their kids. And
Yeah, no,
I would
definitely. I
encourage
mean,
you.
I remember I was in 11th grade. I was trying. Unfortunately, it didn't go as far as I wanted it to. But I was trying to get all gym teachers to be physical adaptive education certified. So
Wow.
that's where they would go and they would learn about the
Right.
disability and how to help the kids with disabilities. Because I mean, it's not completely the gym teacher's fault, but they don't know how to deal with these
No,
kids
you don't
because
know what you don't know.
exactly. So I'm not saying wasn't trying to blame anyone or anything
No.
like that, but I mean, I got to sit down with I believe it was the head of athletics at our school and kind of talk about it and
Right.
unfortunately it didn't go far enough but
Well,
I
but
attempted it.
you saw a need and you tried to do something about it. And that's impressive, but you don't know what you don't know. I know there are officers out there that have interactions with people with disabilities, different abilities, and your autism and hearing disability and stuff. Some of they're invisible disabilities. You can't look at somebody, but if you haven't been taught how to pick up on some of those behaviors, like I said, you don't know what you don't know, and that's what I try to do, and other officers try to do. Get out there and give you that information, so when you're standing there and you're trying to communicate with somebody and they're humming or they have their hands over their ears or they're stemming, boom, that light bulb goes off. Okay, this might be that stuff Tim was talking about. This might be autism. So I don't want to touch them unless I absolutely have to touch them because you don't know what you're going to get being sensory driven. But just not knowing. And I admire you for what you're doing. And so give us the points of contact for you one more time because we're running out of time. Just let everybody know how to contact the organization or you.
Yeah, abilitymediagroup.com or abilitymediagroup.org. You can go there. There's contact information on there to ask to get put into contact, and someone will email you. If not, you can always email me, abarrett4@quinnipiac.edu. Either way, we'd be happy to share what we're doing, and love if you guys could get a part of it.
Awesome, Aiden. Thank you so much for being here, and let's stay in touch. You got my information, and great job doing anything. If there's anything down here I can do to help you out, please let me know, and hopefully we'll get you back on here soon.
100% would love to come back on. Thank you so much for having me on. And yeah, I mean, I love what you guys are doing. Obviously, I mean, I told you that when we got to speak earlier in the week. So I love what you guys are doing and would love to stay in touch. Definitely love to come
Good
back
deal.
on.
Take care, friend.
Thank you so much. Great night.
All right. Well, everybody, I hope I opened some eyes to some stuff going on. Other people doing some amazing things out there. I would add, thank you for Aiden for being here. I'd ask you if you've got any other individuals or groups or whatever that would like to be on the show, please have them contact me. My email is aawareness12 at yahoo.com, or you can go to my website, tim-sutton.com, and let me know. But it's all about you guys and helping out the differability community. And I appreciate everybody being here. And Dad, thank you for watching. I love you.